Ignition from Cape Canaveral. Hey guys, that was quick, eh? Boom, from the beach to back to home here. So I have Steve on the line. Welcome, Steve.
Welcome. Thank you. Glad to be
So,
here.
so Steve, you're in Oregon, Albany, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so guys, we have a special treat today. We get to talk to Steve, who popped the question to his lady. So she's now a fiance. Congrats, by the way, Steve.
Thank you.
And yeah, Steve has many cool factors to his story. So thanks for offering to share your story, Steve.
No problem.
Also, Steve is a fellow brother Christian. So that is, again, another unique spin to come to Ukraine and try to find a Christian woman. Hey, would you say, Steve?
Yeah, it was definitely it was something I wanted to do. So it was a prerequisite, I guess you could say. So uh, yes, it was number one on my list.
Exactly. So before we jump in any further, let's play your ladies video. So we'll get a chance, the guys get a chance to see the ladies that you dated and then the one that you chose and your fiance. Let's take a look. Beautiful lady, Irina is, Steve.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So we'd love to hear your story. Now, before we jump into it, I just wanted to announce to everybody that remember next Saturday, my wife Anna and I are going to sit down. We're going to share our story with you from beginning to end, how we met and courtship and everything as to Christian people. She's right here beside me right now, peeking, watching me. But actually, Anna was your translator, right, Steve? So Anna's going to
Correct.
join us.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too. And then next Sunday, we have our very first couple in our age gap focus group. They've been married 10 years. They have a 4-year-old boy, and they live in Las Vegas, and they have a 20-year age gap. So we're going to interview Dawn next Sunday. And where we're going with this age gap thing is we're going to basically study successful large age gap couples and get their input as to what they did differently and what were the tricky parts of the relationship. And we're endeavoring to come up with a formula for large age gap marital success. So that's next weekend. So, Steve, first question I have for you is a lot of our critics back home who are naysayers, right? They say, okay, why Ukraine? You can't find a girl in your country, America, 350,000 or million people.
Well, sure, I could have found someone here, but not to the expectations and not what I was looking for. I had this, I didn't want to settle for something that maybe I had questions about. I wanted to find something for myself, and going through all these years of dating and not finding what I wanted having to lower my expectations. I just wanted to try something different. They always say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. So, and that's what I found myself doing. So, Ukraine, I ended up having a lady that worked for me when I worked at a hospital who was Ukrainian, and her and her family were so great, and it's what I envisioned for what I wanted for a family. And she was such a great lady, had was so down to earth, and had so many of the uh, just the character and things I was looking for. So uh, that's what got me intrigued about Ukraine. And because I asked her, it's like I was like, "Are there more of you?" And she said, "Yes, you need a Steve. You need a Ukrainian woman. She'll she's not like the American women. She'll take care of you. She'll uh, support you. It's not like here." So that's what started my journey.
Very cool. I mean, it's great that you had a positive example like that. I can relate totally because Ukraine and the whole culture was brought into my childhood at the age of 3 because my big brother married a Ukrainian woman that had immigrated to Ukraine with her parents. So back in Manitoba on the prairies. So I grew up with all of the culture, all of the tradition and the traditional values. And I saw how they spoil their men. I mean, they take care of their men. They spoiled their men, quite frankly. So that was a tall bar for me too. Is after I saw that, it's hard to look at Canadian women after that. So, okay, well, thanks for explaining that. And can you give our viewers a little bit of an idea? Um, but before I do, though, guys, feel free to ask all your questions in chat. The thumbnail of this video is no taboo questions, and Steve is prepared to answer absolutely any question. That's one thing we pride ourselves in here at Match Guarantee is being completely transparent. So if you think it's a tough question or whatever, don't worry about it. Just ask any question, okay? And we will queue up the questions as they come up. And I have some questions for Steve as well, but we'll mix it up as we go. Okay, so Steve, can you give us an idea? What was your experience coming to Ukraine? Your dating experience in Ukraine, BMG before Match Guarantee?
So I had been to Ukraine one other time. I used a different agency. It was an agency that not just charged me for going over to Ukraine, the fee, but it charged by the letter. And so I spent about around 10,800 to $11,000 just on that. And it was over a couple of years, but I ended up getting nowhere. I met some nice ladies, but uh, just there was no connection and nothing there. And here at the end of it, I just wasn't getting the face to face. It was more letter writing, and it was just not a great experience. So I came across Match. I got nervous and backed out, and then after having that other experience, and in August of last year, and then decided, you know, I let's do it. What's wrong? What am I waiting for? Nothing's getting better. Let's just go for it. So I did.
Cool. Let's take a question from Mark. By the way, hey Mark, good to see you on here. We haven't connected in a long time. How you doing, my friend? So Mark is asking, what type of lady are you looking for, and what age?
So I'm 47, and what I was looking for was someone that mirrored a lot of my own values, and so that's what I was looking for. What I was looking for is uh, I had a list, and uh, some of the ladies I dated, I met some great ladies, and but they didn't meet everything on my list, and I da 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 da. Well, is this going to be good enough? And then Irina, she met everything on my list that I had wanted, plus a lot more. One thing is I really didn't want someone with a bunch of tattoos on their arms or piercings all throughout their face, or I want someone more of a traditional look. And uh, that was important, but more important, I wanted to find someone that was a Christian girl, and she did that. And as beautiful she is on the outside, she was more beautiful on the inside, and I could tell that on the first date.
You sure could. And what about age? It's a good question for you. What age, or what? How much of a factor was age for you?
Um, I was a little shocked because when I met with Tatiana, that she suggested dating a 30-year-old, and I was a little apprehensive about that being 47. And I decided to go out on the date and just okay trust Tatiana, and she was a great lady. I really enjoyed her. She was one I went on a second and third date for, and I actually went to her whole hometown on one of my other visits to see her. She was a doctor and just a great lady, but she didn't quite meet or everything I was wanting. I think I could have been real happy with her. But again, I wanted to come in with not settling, not settling, not settling. And when I met Arena, and she met everything on my list, everything that I had wanted and was looking for, uh, it just kind of uh, clicked that I knew she was the one.
Hmm. Very cool. Um, Thanks for that. Another question here. Why is your wife not with you on the interview?
Well, she could have been if we set that up, but she's not here in the United States yet. We're going through the K1 paperwork, which takes a lot of time. It's been uh, almost 8 months now. So if she was here, she'd be sitting right next to me. But she's not quite here yet. When you go through the paperwork, that is the long, arduous process that uh, is the worst thing about this.
Hmm.
It just takes a long time for them to uh, get everything the I's dotted, T's crossed with the United States government and the Homeland Security. There's a lot of paperwork involved.
And with Corona, pretty much everything government is backlogged, right? So,
Yes.
any word on K1 uh, process now? What the
Well,
backlog is?
she's been approved. She's her visa's at the National Visa Center right now. I'm hoping to hear something. Actually, Monday will be my 2 week period where they're supposed to send you an email, and then from there, once that gets approved, she will have her interview in Kiev, and then get her visa, and then be on her
Woo!
way. So
Perfect, perfect. Well, that's a good indication because you just got into the K1 process before Corona hit
yes,
the
yes,
world.
correct.
Yeah. So, because a lot of guys are wondering how backlogged it is now. So, am I understanding? I might as well use this opportunity to ask from this question: is your wife willing to go, on camera and do a video interview like this in the future? What do you think?
I think she probably would. She's pretty outgoing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
uh,
Great.
the uh, she'd probably be more scared about her English. As when Corona hit, she was taking English classes. When I met her, she was taking English classes, and when Corona hit, it stopped all the English classes. So her practice is only uh, with me, and we're not as probably more formal. So if she was on camera, I think she'd do it, but she'd be worried about her English skills. I know.
Of
So,
course. And in fact, the truth of the matter is, it's very hard to get a guy's lady on with him. I mean, we usually ask. We didn't ask with you, Steve, but it's kind of early in your process. But we usually get shot down because they're too shy or shy of their English. So it's rare when they agree to go on. So that maybe we'll ask at a later date then.
sure.
Never hurts to ask, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. One of my questions is, how supportive, and can you give guys an idea, because again these interviews are always in our mind, like how can we help the next guy, right? Imagine if it was before you made the decision to look for Ukrainian wife. What were your fears, your apprehensions? We want to address as much of that for guys as possible. And of course, one of the big apprehensions is basically everybody thinks that we're off, out of our rocker. We're crazy. So how supportive were your family and friends about coming to Ukraine to find a wife?
Uh, my family probably wasn't very supportive because they knew I tried before and spent all this money and had zero results. So the second time I did it through the match, I just kind of kept things real quiet and went by myself and really didn't tell anyone what I was doing or they knew I was going to Ukraine, but I really didn't uh, tell a lot of people the reason why. There was other things in Ukraine for me to want to do and see, some people to visit. So it wasn't something that people were constantly asking, and it wasn't something I wanted to uh, volunteer because after the first experience, everyone was, "See, you got scammed. See, what a waste of
Hmm.
money. What all these uh, people trying to give their advice for my life when they don't know, they aren't in my shoes. I guess you could say.
Hmm. And Steve, I think that was a great move. On the second time around, you decided to keep it hush hush, right? And
Yeah,
and what
absolutely.
would you advise guys? Would you advise guys to share with their family and friends, or keep it hush hush?
Um, maybe share. Uh, you're gonna go for multiple times. That was one thing that scared me at first. Because I thought, oh, this is gonna be it's just gonna be such a financial thing. It's gonna keep rolling and rolling, and I'm gonna have to spend all this time traveling, and it really wasn't uh, as much as I thought. And it, it it ended up working out fine. I didn't. I told. I didn't tell. I told a couple of my really close friends. I told the Ukrainian woman that I worked with before, and that was the biggest thing. I really didn't tell all that many people. I just wanted to keep it on the down low.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and I think generally that's good advice, but I think everybody's kind of specific on
Oh
that.
yeah. Mhm.
So, next question by Jeffrey on the screen here. How was the language barrier to handle when you first met her and currently in your relationship?
Well, that's what surprised me when I first went to Ukraine with the other. None of the ladies spoke English, and that was very difficult because we had to use a translator through everything. Uh, this time with Match, one thing they do give you is a idea of what the ladies' language is. Now, it's not always because they go with what the ladies say, and it's always correct what they deem themselves intermediate or a master versus what they are in reality or what they are when they're nervous and you're trying to interact with them. But it wasn't. It was a lot easier. Now, like I said, Irina was in a English class when I met her. She was taking classes. She was very shy about her English, so she requested a interpreter the first day. She did not need it, as she was answering the questions before Anna could get a lot of the translation out, and so it was fine. Uh, There was a couple other ladies I met that we didn't use translators with, and for them, I think it was a missed opportunity, because the communication wasn't as good as if there was someone there. Most everyone there I found speaks some English, and it's just how in depth they are and they're getting. Most everyone's trying to learn English. There's English camps all over the place for in classes for people to take. So it was it's a small barrier. I know, but it's our slang and that kind of thing that uh, is
Yeah, absolutely.
difficult.
Makes it tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I
Yeah.
said something and I said, "Oh no, I put my foot in my mouth," and she looked at me so strange
Oh,
and said, "Do you do yoga?" I was like, "No, no." That means I I said something I shouldn't have.
you don't
So
look that dexterous, Steve.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. About English, I'll just kind of say a few 2 cents worth here. That most of our ladies speak conversational level English, but a lot of them at the same time, even if they speak English well, they will ask for a translator for the first date simply because they're nervous. And the other big reason is if they plan on asking you serious in-depth questions, they want to be clear about
Absolutely.
the deal breakers of relationships. Because Steve, would you say these ladies are like you and other guys that come here? They're serious. They want to cut to the chase and know where you stand on major points that might be a deal breaker to them.
Absolutely. And you can't get offended because they're going to ask you right away, intent, what you're looking for, all that, which I found just refreshing. Um, if they didn't like something, they would tell you they didn't like something. And
Hmm. Hmm.
in the United States, we'd be dating 6 months before finding that out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'd find it on the first or second date.
Yeah.
There's also that, because you are in a foreign country and they know you're leaving to go back to the United States, there's also that needing to know quicker. So you're building your relationship. So you're not, oh, she's just around the corner. I'll see her next week. I'll ask that. No, you're here to do business, and you get out and ask what you want to ask.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So another next question is, can you give us an idea, in your opinion, what are the main redeeming qualities of Ukrainian ladies, the ones that you met, anyway, that you can speak of, that you found so attractive, and how does that compare to our Western or American women?
Uh, Being feminine was probably number one. Making sure they were put together right. They they just are you? Oh, it looks like
Oh,
my camera.
oh, we lost you. We lost Steve there, Vlad. Looks like Vlad's working on it. Mm. So just stand by, guys. We're working on this. Stand by, guys. We're trying to bring Steve back in here. Okay, I'll review the questions here. When did you start spending the night at Arena's apartment? Ooh, that's definitely a taboo question. We said no taboo questions. Hey, hon, come on, sit down and join me. You guys know who Anna is. Have a seat, hon. So maybe we'll talk a little bit, keep everybody entertained while we try to get Steve
Hey,
back
guys.
on. Here, I'll give you one of my earbuds. Oh, actually, you don't need it because it's only for hearing people talk. So, Vlad, maybe give Vlad a call. Vlad knows that we have a problem, right?
I suggest yes.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, Vlad knows.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Can you call Vlad? Here, I'll call him. I don't know.
You call. Okay, so I will answer some questions.
Yeah, maybe answer some questions. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Vlad, you know we lost Steve, eh? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, Vlad's working on it. Our IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
Technical problems.
Irina from Kiev. There was question.
Irina's from Kiev. Yes.
His lady.
His fiance is from Kiev.
Mm-hmm. When he started go to home, taboo question.
Yeah, we said no taboo questions, so we got one. No worries. Well, we'll throw that at Steve, see what he wants to say. Rodney is saying привет to you. Rodney.
Привет.
You remember Rodney? Yeah. I think I remember Rodney. Yeah. Rodney.
I said just yes.
And Michael Weaver's on. Hey, Michael. Michael is a trooper. Watch.
Okay.
Because he bumps the camera every time.
Okay.
Все.
I will not jump. Все.
Yeah. So Michael Weaver is a trooper. He was scammed a lot. Hey, Michael. Unfortunately, had a lot of bad experiences.
It's not one case. Yes, a lot of guys actually came to us who were scammed before.
Yeah.
Especially it's long.
Hey, Michael.
Long-term journey.
What are you up to these days, Michael? Have you given up on coming to Ukraine to find your lady, or are you coming back for more punishment? Rodney says, "What a lucky guy I am."
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
We
okay,
live.
No, yeah, we live. She's a bit shy. Okay, I didn't know you were shy, really. She just stood up and performed in front of a lot of people. I don't know where the shyness comes from.
But I didn't kiss in front of a lot of people.
Okay, true enough. Gio is in Ukraine. Wow, where are you in Ukraine? So distance learning, yeah, there's a lot of there's distance learning in Ukraine. So I don't know. Irina could continue, but I'm not sure why she didn't. Oh, our neighbor dog has decided to get temperamental and start barking here. So sorry for the delay, guys. Turning out to be quite a delay. Mark will be back in 5 years. When you retire? 5 years, eh? Okay. Well, how's that diet going, Mark? I remember you were on a great diet. Same one, I think, that I took. Yeah, just wondering how it's going.
Ukrainian kitchen, the best diet.
No hamburgers. Best diet to put on pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve is back.
Hey, Steve. Okay.
Steve is back.
Looks like Megan lost him. Hey. Steve, don't go.
Hey, Steve. You're back. All right.
Video with
Hello.
a bit delay.
Oh,
again.
There he was. He's back. Okay.
I'll be back.
So, Steve, do you see the question? Absolutely. I said no taboo questions. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, it's fine. The answer is I didn't. Irina lives with her mom, so that would have been very, very awkward. And that's what you're going to find with a lot of the ladies. They live with people. So that part, I wasn't even looking to spend the night with someone. I was looking to get to know someone. So if you're coming over just to try to sleep with someone, this probably isn't the right process for you. they are conservative ladies, and it's going to take a while for you to build up that trust for that. I myself was pretty upfront about that. You know, there would be no pressure for that. So uh, I hope that answers the question. It's probably not the answer you were looking for, but you know, it's the truth.
Yeah, it's a very,
So
very truthful answer. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. And yeah, who is it? The, the Master Wolf. Ooh, scary name. The Master Wolf should watch our Beautiful Ukrainian Woman and Sex 5-part series, which actually, Steve, we brought it back for you because you said you wanted to watch it. And then we took it off the channel because it was one of the lives on the auction before. What do you think of that? The advice that Anna's mostly giving in that series?
it's been good. It's been what I've actually found to be true. But the second part, that's the one I really want to know. That was one of the biggest questions I said when I met with the ladies was uh, one of my deal breakers was manipulation, and that Anna's going to address on the second part. But that was something I found so much with American ladies was this negotiation and manipulation versus uh, trying to do things together and do it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And well, that's live. You'll see it on there. So it's a very interesting answer. It's a very truthful answer that Anna gives, of course. But we will put all of the links to the series, all 5 parts, in the description below this video. So anybody wanting to watch that, it's in the description below this video. And really, it's mandatory. It should be mandatory school, really, if you're looking at coming to Ukraine, because yeah, it's really not a place to come to look to get laid like maybe some other countries, because they're, like Steve said, they're more conservative here. And guys, don't, you know, give me a bunch of flack on this, because listen, like every country, there's good girls and bad girls, and of course they're everywhere in every country, but we're talking about the good girls, the marriage material, you know, ladies that guys are looking to marry. Okay, not any other type of girl, just to be clear there. So I think where we were, Steve, was redeeming qualities of the ladies. Did you finish
Yeah.
off on that?
I don't know. I can answer it again. Femininity was
Feminine.
one.
Yeah.
Being real feminine. That was one. Another one was honesty. You didn't have this drama back and forth. If you ask a question, they would tell you the answer, even if it wasn't the answer you were looking for. Um, and that's what I found really refreshing. The other part was the appreciation of the freedoms that we enjoy here in North America versus what she grew up with in the Soviet Union. They still have a lot of reoccurring thoughts, and you know, it affected their lives. And so there's a really appreciation uh, for that. So uh, that's that's something I really uh, found refreshing. Um, the other thing was the embracing of uh, just different roles and how women and men are different. And uh, you know, when we talk about raising children, we're raising children together, but there are certain things that women do better than men, and there are certain things in the home that men do better than women. Um, I'm not going to ask her to fix sheetrock, and you know, she's not going to ask me to do other different things. Um, I do the laundry, I do the dishes. It's nothing like that. It's not, uh, but uh, there's just this embracing of uh, not so much gender roles, but uh, each one's differences and how together we make each other stronger versus this everyone's on the same, we're unisex, I guess you should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Next question's on the screen there. Steve, do the ladies respect the guys if they treat the ladies like a gentleman?
Absolutely. You will not get a second date. You will not get a phone number if you don't treat them respectfully. Now, I I I went. I had a plan, and I brought flowers. I brought a little gift bag. There was one lady I did not ask for her phone number, but for the most part, if I wanted a phone number, I usually got that. But I also made sure I was minding my P's and Q's as far as making sure it's different there than it is here. They expect you to open the door for them. They expect you to open the door for a car for them. Respectfully, respect is a big thing there. And for me, there's just different little things I try to do to show that extra respect. Uh, one was first is I would tell them, sorry, I'm not familiar with the area. Uh, what kind of food do you prefer? I know a restaurant here and there. Now, you don't want to say, hey, where do you want to eat? Because that will be taken wrong. But if you ask them their opinion on something, that's treated really well. Versus saying, this guy can't even decide where he wants to eat. Uh, but if you ask it in that such a way, you'll get a better response.
Very great answers. Incredible answers, Steve. You're so spot on. Spot on. So let's see. I saw a question down here. Work. We're going to do a video on this. Does your wife want to work after she immigrates to America?
Yes, that's the first thing she keeps asking me is, have you found me a job yet? Have you found me a job yet? And that's going to be a process, because once she does get here, we have more or less 120 days to get married and then apply for her green card. She cannot work till she gets her green card. So she's going to have 3-4 months to really work and master her English before she goes on her interviews and that kind of thing. I found her, you're only allowed to drive in the United States, or at least in my state, 3 months with a foreign driver's license before getting an Oregon driver's license. So I've sent her the driver's manual in Russian. Things like that, where she can kind of get ahead of the curve there to prepare for work. Because yes, she wants to work now. If I don't believe that will be the case if children come along, but it's up to her. I'm not going to stop her either way. Again, that's going to be her decision.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants children very much, as I
Mhm.
remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also she have good job here in Ukraine. She's work for in big company, so she kind of
Yes.
have this
You're
job
going
to be social, and she wants to continue this lifestyle having in USA. But she has definitely she has preferences about having being a mama.
Yes. And what you're going to find is incredibly educated people here in Ukraine versus here. They all have usual college degrees. They're all. I went on dates with doctors, doctorate professors. I went on dates with engineers, with translators. Just the gambit. But they were all highly educated people, and so they want to work, and they've been trained to work. And so that's not, and that was something I wanted to see what they what they were like, as far as, do they want to work, are they a hard worker. That's something that's important to me. And she was a hard worker. She's an engineer. And if you look at when I was doing a lot of her paperwork, she'd been with the same company for many years, so she was stable, and that was important to me. Not someone that had a different job every uh, 6 months or a year. So, that's questions to ask, and that's I got the answers I was looking for.
Hmm. Yeah, thanks, Steve. So if you could give one piece of advice to guys sitting back home, lonely right now, really so afraid, fear stricken to come to Ukraine to start to try this journey to find a good Ukrainian wife, what would the biggest piece of advice you could give be?
Invest in yourself. Um, Again, if you're not finding what you're wanting here, why are you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result? If you have certain things you're looking for and you're not finding it, uh, and you can find those characteristics somewhere else, try. Uh, by going on dates here, think of all the money you're spending that goes nowhere when you can invest it and go somewhere else, meet a whole bunch of people. And I found my special someone, uh, and you think of that as an investment in yourself. It the cost isn't as bad as you would initially think. It's getting over that. It's getting over to uh, the fear, the fear of flying in there, that you think you're flying into somewhere out of the Rocky Four where he goes to Russia and everything's 12 feet in snow and all that, and it's not like that. So it's just it's get over your fears, and at some time, if you want something, you have to take the chance and go do it. If you don't, then as I was told by a friend, stop feeling sorry for yourself. um, uh, you know Pull up your bootstraps and do something if you want to change your life. And again, I canceled the first time I was going to go because out of fear. And then I called about a month later and says, okay, let's do this. So I understand all that, but of course, it's worth it for me. I've met a great lady.
You're like part inspirational speaker there,
Mhm.
Steve. That was great. That's fantastic. Before we get into the next area, which is Christianity, which is very important, and that's something really unique about Steve's story. Could you give us, because you have such an incredible way that you strategized dating, can you kind of, maybe share with us how many ladies you met? What was the process like of dating? Um, were you anxious about it? And when did you finally meet your lady, Irina? And just all of the tips. I know that you have quite a few tips along the way in there.
Anxious, yes. The first day, and Joe doesn't know this, the first day I got to Ukraine and went to my motel, I sat there and said, what am I doing? This is going to be such a bad experience. This is awful. What am I doing here? This isn't going to work. And yes, I was tired, but I was filled with all this doubt. Uh, when I came, though, I had a list of 7 ladies that I was supposed to go out on dates with, and then they called me and said, "Hey, how about this, and this lady?" And a couple of them I said, "Yeah, they'd be good." Another one I was like, "No, let's cancel that one." And so I went on dates. I believe I want to say 10 total dates the first time I was there, and then the second time I was there. Um, I went out again with some of the ladies I'd met on the first time, and then I narrowed it down to a couple, and uh, they just weren't. I guess there was a lot of great things, and I really liked them, but they weren't. It wasn't everything I wanted, and there was just questions in my gut about uh, the relationship. And then I met Irina, who. Was my first choice when I first started. She was the first person I selected out of the catalog. And then she was on vacation during my first visit. And so I emailed Tatiana and said, "What about this lady? I think she was gone when I first came. Can I meet her? Possibly. I'm having some questions about these other ladies that I'm meeting, and it just doesn't feel great." And she said, "Absolutely. If it doesn't feel right, they're not right." So she set me up with Arena the first night. I got there on the second trip, and from there it just went downhill. We went out as much as we could after that. So it was it was a good experience. As far as what I did, uh, I had a plan going in as far as what I was looking for, what I wanted to get out of the date, and how I was going to get there. And you say, "Well, what are you talking about?" So what I did is I brought flowers, which is pretty standard, but I also made a little gift bag for each.
Mm.
And it wasn't very expensive stuff, but it was stuff that meant something to me. It was stuff from the area I live in. It was everything from I live in Oregon, not too far from Nike. It was a pair. There was a pair of Nike socks. There was a pair. There was um, some lotion from a local distributor. There was a cross little necklace. There was
Candies.
yeah,
I
lots of
remember.
American candies, the small miniature candies, and I put a Bible in there because I wanted to see what her response was uh, without uh, getting her off guard about what she would think about getting a Bible, and the, their response to opening it and the look in their eyes and when they brought things out told you everything you wanted to know. There was one lady that said, "Why are you giving me this?" and was pretty rude about it. And I'm just like, okay,
Could you imagine that after 5 or 10 years
yeah, yeah,
living with
exactly.
that?
Yeah. She's like, "Why are you giving me this?" And so I appreciated that. She was very honest, and uh, that was great. She wasn't for me. Um, and so that's what it was. It also was a great icebreaker halfway through because you're talking, and then you bring out this bag and there's things in it, and you can talk about what it means to you, what what it is, and it brings more conversation, and so it makes it last longer versus a half hour of talking back and forth answering just questions. Uh, and that I found was really good about being able to dig deeper.
Yeah,
So
it's true. I remember reaction of Irina. She unpacked everything. She was like a child,
yes,
smile, and she was like, "Oh,
absolutely,
this, oh, this."
yeah,
And the Bible, she was like, it was very. I mean, she was very happy to have this. It's
to
a
receive it. Yes,
gift. Yeah, you
mhm,
receive.
yeah,
Yeah, and she look to you like like to. Is spiritual manner, how to say like this,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
it's a totally different perceive of the person when you
Uh-huh.
have
It told
yeah.
her a lot about who
Mhm.
you are as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
man, right?
Yeah,
yes,
and it
And
looks like the
mm,
same value, so it's
uh-huh.
mhm,
start
Yeah, because that's
connect.
important to connect on the values level, of
Yeah.
yeah,
course. And
Mhm.
and of course you're a fervent Christian man, and that's critically important to you. So, I mean, I really commend you again, Steve, on your strategy. When I first heard through our internal success team that you were
Mhm.
giving all the ladies a Bible, I honestly, I went, oh, really? I was worried about it because I know it can be very negative.
absolutely, yeah, hmm,
It can be very negative here, and there can be a lot of negative reactions against kind of like a Bible thumping, if
hmm,
we'll say, pushy attitude. Because I've had clients that are really pushy and
and that
kind
wasn't
of
my
demanding.
strategy. Yes,
And that it's backfired on them. But
hmm,
your approach was so so Christian like, right? So easygoing, and it really was incredible.
Yes.
I recommend it to anybody that's a Christian man looking to come to Ukraine. It's the best strategy I've ever heard of and seen, and you can see the result. So maybe a few more tips, Steve, on how you dated, like with the Uber Black and
Yes. So
uh,
so we always would meet near the office or at the office, and so uh, usually I would ask them if they preferred Italian or French. Those were the two closest, nicest restaurants near the office, and I'd let them choose. I said, I know where this is, and I know where this is. Which one would you prefer? And they usually chose the French restaurant, but so we would go there and let them order whatever they want. And in Ukraine and Kiev, most of the menus now have English in it, so it made it so much easier and nicer for me. Um, and then, of course, I had Anna there to, if there was a question about it, she would translate, or even Arena at that point, if there was something, she looked out for you. So that that was a strategy, trying to get them some input in where they would choose to eat. Uh, you know, I I don't know the city, being there a couple times, but I know where a few restaurants were. I got recommendations and went for that. Uh, what I also did is, again, I gave them a little bag, and it just, to me, it would show them that I cared about meeting them, and I had something individually for them. And so that, most all of them, all but one, really liked that, especially the candy and just the little trinkets and things in there. Uh, and then when I would take them home, I would always order an Uber Black, to send them home. Now, I was in a different motel, so I didn't ride home with them. I would send them home, but uh, Ukraine doesn't have the same Uber, uh, I guess, policies as we do here. So you get a lot of small, dinky, beat up cars and Uber. So I wanted to send them home with something comfortable, something more high end, and something where I know if the person invested that much in their car, I thought it would be much safer than some Yahoo in this tiny little box.
Lada,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so I would always do that. Our dollar goes so much farther there. It wasn't that much more, but it had an impact because for one lady, it was the first time they'd ridden in a Tesla. Another one, so it was just a nicer car and nicer experience for them. So that's something I liked, and I found that the women all liked. So that was one of my strategies, to make sure you treated them as the princesses and queens they are, um, from the get go. And you know, so that's,
See the
yeah,
reaction?
exactly,
Yeah, it
exactly,
continues. It continues.
exactly. And you always tip your interpreter too. That's another thing I will tell you, because they work so hard for you. And so, make sure you're treating everyone how you want to be treated. If they're working hard, make sure you know they appreciate that.
Mhm.
So it's just, make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Don't be cheap. Don't Again, this is an investment. And what's the difference between spending $3 and spending 450? It's not that much for the impact it makes.
Exactly. And Steve, ever since I heard that you did this, I've been recommending to all clients, put her in an Uber Black to go home, because I could see from our ladies, they just perceived that you are a man that just really cared. It spelled to them a man that cares,
Yep.
Which is huge. That's a huge part of what they look for in a man here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you only
Great
get
job.
one
So
time.
you learn from Steve because you didn't order new flag.
Honey,
Okay.
come on.
Well, and
Okay.
and at the end of the night, I did give your wife a Bible too, because I happen to
Yes,
have it.
yeah.
So
It's still with me.
yeah,
Yes, you
so
did. Yes,
Yeah,
you
so
thank
did.
you very much.
Yes.
yeah.
The next topic is about Christianity, Steve. And
Okay.
how
Mm.
did the ladies, how did you approach them about your Christian faith? And how did you broach the topic that you're a born again Christian? And how did that land here?
Uh, it was the first thing I put in my introduction letter. That this is something I had to rewrite my letter at least 5 or 6 times. My first letter, I think, was 4 pages long, and they're like, "No, no, get it down," because I wanted to share and share and share and share. And again, I'm one of those people. I want this, and this, and this is what I'm looking for. And so it was something that I had to pare down to 3/4 of a page, which was difficult, but I did it. It was the first thing I said. I said, this is who I am. I go to church every week. I want you to know that first and foremost. Uh, One thing it also told the ladies, most of the ladies told me, is, well, they knew I had good morals. So a lot of them really, that was one of the first things they said. It's like, oh, you go to church, then I know you have good morals. Um, and so other than that, I really did not bring it up until the gift of the Bible, when it would come out, because I'm not here to push or uh, my religion on people. I'm not here to try to convert people. I was there looking for a partner, and uh, it's a respect thing. I wouldn't want to go out and have someone trying to sell me something or push something on me I wasn't comfortable with. So for me, it was just being very nonchalant about it and saying, here, this is part of who I am. You know, Here's some socks from Nike, Oregon, right close to where I live. Here's some candy from America. Here's a little necklace cross, and then here's a Bible. And why I'm giving you a Bible, it is because I want to just tell you, this is important of who I am, and let you know that I go to church every week. If they didn't fully understand that, so I reiterate how it was important to me. I did not say, well, you have to do this to date me. You have to do this. I just put it out there as far as who I am. The ladies will let you know back, just by nothing else, their body language, uh, what they think of that. And there's no need to push, uh, because if they react uh, negatively on their face or their body language, then why push something that they're not interested in? And at that point, something that's very important to you, and it's not. So it's not going to be a match. So have enjoy the person, get to know them, and then realize this is another person that is a great person, but just not for you. Make sure you find the one that's right for you. So that's how I
Mhm.
kind of went about it. The
Mhm.
second thing I did is, it was going well, and then I told Arena, I was like, well, on my next day, I'm going to bring you in a book to read. It was the Russian version of The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Uh-oh.
And I said, hey, I have a book for you to read. I'm going to bring it to our next date, and see what you think of it. And uh, that's not, I don't think, an overly spiritual book, but it's a book that will tell you a lot about yourself, and tell you, gives them an insight of American culture and American marriage and American love. And uh, so as we met for our second date, she had already read the book. She found it online. So here I am giving her a book, and she had already read it. So that was, again, test number two that she came up roses on. And we spent most of the day then discussing that book, discussing love languages, discussing items from that book. And again, another conversation starter. It was something that's important to me, and it just wasn't. It doesn't become work at that point. Trying to use icebreakers, trying to use a conversation starter. Um, to me, you know, give them some homework. You will find out if they are interested or not by how they respond. So, does that answer your question in a nutshell?
Yeah, that's a great reply, Steve. And what about the aspect of born again? Did you broach that topic? Because it's very foreign here.
Yes, most of the ladies there are, now I can't think of the word, of a different
Ukraine Orthodox, yeah.
Orthodox, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't say Russian Orthodox. They don't like that.
Right, yeah.
So, and it's different. They're Christian ladies, but it's just a different way of seeing thing. And I'm not saying it can't work, because I think it can work, but to be on a same level that way as far as our faiths just was another thing that just clicked. On one of my dates, we went up to Pershka Lavka. Is that where?
Lavra, the
Lava?
Lavra.
Yes. And
Mhm.
yes, and there's some churches up there, and so I got to interact with a lady that was Orthodox, and see some of the differences in that kind of thing. And uh, again, it gave us talking points to discuss. And while it wasn't a deal breaker on any the differences, it was just more of a reaffirmment of what she believed and what I believed matched. So I guess there wasn't another hurdle to get over with that. In that tradition, they aren't allowed to go to other churches, and that was something that I said was like, well, I will want you. I said, you don't have to go to uh, church all the time with me, but I want you to go to church with me. And if they said, well, I don't know about that or that, then I knew they weren't for me. And she's like, oh, yes, of course. And so again, boom, another match. So it was, even though their her church is a little different, and of course the language is different, but that's, it was fine. So I also know some people that are missionaries over there in Kiev that work with a lot of the college kids over there. So I had some insight on the differences of the religions before I went over there. And I guess the biggest piece of advice, another thing, would be do your homework. Read books about Ukrainian culture. Know know who you're meeting. Know your audience, as they always say. Um, am I gone now?
Again, uh-oh.
We lost.
Video.
We
But
lost
we can hear.
video, Steve.
But we can hear you, no? Yes?
No.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah,
We can hear you.
yeah.
Mhm.
We can hear you.
So I'll restart my camera. So hopefully you can see me here in a second.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just chime in there. Yeah, because my experience, before I met Anna, is that ladies, even when you talk about Protestant like Baptist, and if you take them to a Baptist church, they're very against it. This is not church. They're adamant. This is not even church. Don't call this church. That over there, that Ukrainian Orthodox is church. This is a rock concert. So I was just wondering, how your ladies responded to that. I found it a bit of a challenge before I met my Anya, and just was wondering how you found it.
Oh, we lost
him completely.
Maybe.
So, what do you think about Christianity in Ukraine, honey?
No, I mean, I was going to share because I was translator, and it's actually
okay. Share. So when you were doing translating for Irina and Steve, how did you find it? Did you feel that they had a connection match.
Oh, Steve again appear and disappear. Yes, I was very happy being a part of this dating because I see the dynamic and real mutual interest in know each other, the quality of the question they ask each other, and they see it's like two adult people meet and they know what they want, so they just don't waste their time. They just go deep, and. At the end of the date, and I have to say that Irina's case, I suggest were asking me to be a translator because mostly she was afraid or that her English wouldn't be enough, and many ladies, they just afraid to go on a date. They don't feel confident about their English. So during the date, she starts slowly, step by step, say some English words. So at the end of the day, I say, guys, you don't need more me anymore. So I would like you to schedule next date without me, and get to know each other, more, and have some talk eye to eye conversation without other person. So, and I was very happy. I come back and say, we have some great ladies in our database.
Yeah, I remember when you came
fall
home
in love
after
with
that.
Irina, and Joseph become worried for me.
Yeah, that's
Why
true.
I fell in love with
Yeah,
ladies.
you said I fell in love with the girl. I'm like, is there something you need to tell me? I don't know. So did you have some kind of intuition, feeling that they were good for each other?
Of course I had, and I have very strong belief that it have great potential. Those couple have great potential, but as I understood, it shouldn't be in a hurry to speed up the process. It takes time to know each other, and from the first sight you have one picture, but it can be changed while people get to know each other more, and it's normal. It's a journey. You need to be ready to have any result, and then don't give up in this journey until you will find the right one person for yourself.
Great answer, Han. Hey guys, I just wanted to ask you guys, are you finding this really useful? Because if you are, I can have more clients on like this and live Q&As. Since we moved to the south of Ukraine, I'm not in Kyiv anymore, so we have to do it this way. And quite frankly, it's easier because we don't have to drive anywhere in the capital. So do you find these lives with clients useful? If you could let me know in chat what you think while we're waiting for Steve to join us back. And if you have any more hot burning questions for Steve, yeah, please write it in the chat. So
we will not be soon visible because sun goes down.
Yeah, the sun is going down here.
Soon we'll be just voice on dark screen.
It's gonna get romantic real quick. So Vlad, any progress? Are you hopeful to get Steve back on? No Steve. Oh no, what happened to Steve? Okay, well,
Steve did a great job.
He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, we have a big thank you. Yeah.
You see us, Steve. We appreciate you joining us tonight, your day. Thanks very
practical advices, which really I learned a lot from his journey. But
yeah, you taught us, Steve. Yeah, you taught us a lot, actually. Yeah, your story, and that's why I thought great to have you on to inspire other guys. And Steve was truly a man of action. Looks like he's joining us again.
Oh,
I didn't know he was so fearful until he just shared in this live stream. So again, kudos to you, Steve, for overcoming your fears and becoming a man of action and coming here and getting her done and finding your lady.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
he's back.
I can hear you. Yeah, my camera doesn't seem to be working, but at least you can hear me. and
Mhm,
Ah,
I
mhm.
could still answer any questions you guys have if you have any more. Um, s- so yeah, shoot away.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So camera just completely failed, yeah?
Yep, there we go.
Mhm.
Oh,
Ah,
now
there
we
you
can
go.
see. Mhm,
There we
We
go.
just got some best wishes from Blackpool, from
mhm.
Rodney, so that's great. So I wanted to ask you, Steve, um, if you could just, you know, describe for everybody, maybe some guys are thinking of coming to Ukraine, and I know you've spoken about your fears and how you overcame that, but what was the process like with Match Guarantee specifically? From the whole soup to nuts, from your complimentary introductory package. How was your coach, your matchmaker Tatiana? Your lady coaches, myself as a man coach, just overall.
Yeah, everything was great. Again, I had something to compare it to, uh, uh, and you did the freebie. I wasn't able to get Arena on the call, for I can't remember the reason, but it didn't work out, and that was fine. I was like, oh well, I'll meet her anyway. So I gave them a list of ladies. Uh, they went through it with me. They said select some more. So we went through a whole list, and a lot of different ladies that they thought would be right for me, or vice versa, that I liked their profiles, what they had to say, or uh, that. And so me and my coach, I can't think of her name right at
Yeah,
the
Daria.
moment.
Daria, yeah,
Aria,
Mhm,
yeah.
yes, and
mhm.
went through back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and narrowed it down. But uh, they spent a lot of time to make sure I was coming with a full plate of dates for me. And at the other place, that wasn't the case. I showed up and I had two, and eh, and one was a complete failure. So, you had the dates, and even though I was fearful, I was like, well, I got to meet some ladies now, so you might as well just go for it. So that part was good. Meeting them in the office beforehand kind of was relaxing a little bit. Daria went and took me to a place to show me where uh, to exchange money, where to uh, get flowers, that kind of thing. I had already booked my own motel, having some Ukrainian friends. That was an advantage for me. I didn't even know the agency even offered housing, because I'm a person that does everything very quickly as far as once I make a decision. And so I booked my motel, booked my flight, all that uh, within probably half hour after I decided I'm going for it and paid my deposit. So uh, it, that's me. So that part was great. And then afterwards, they asked me to send them an email or call them the next morning. I found sending an email after each date was best. So you got some feedback, and then they would call the lady and get feedback, and tell you what they thought. So you got both ways feedback, and it helped you narrow it down. But to be honest, if you watched and reacted, saw the lady's body language, you know exactly what they were thinking anyway. So it that part was very good. You know, uh, when I had questions, I talked to Joe and about it, and I was like, "Well, I kind of like this girl. I think I can make it work." And we went through it, and he's like, I just don't think so. Uh, I think there's some issues there, and he was right, and it didn't work out with that one lady, and uh, what that did is opened up more time to uh, date Irina, and that's what happened, and it just worked out so nicely. And after the date, having a translator there, uh, what was I liked it because it put Arena at it put Arena at a lot more ease, and secondly, it just was it was nice because you got instant feedback afterwards. I put
Mhm.
Arena in her Uber Black, and then I talked to Anna on the way back to her to the office to see what she thought, and you got instant feedback there. And then by the time I got home, I had a text from Arena, and so it was, you know, I knew I was on my way with that one. So it was a great experience. And so use the help that's there. Don't think you got to. And I'm one that likes to do everything myself and doesn't like to ask for help. But at the same time, don't be stupid. You're in a different country. You don't know everything. Uh, Take the help and use the help. So
Maybe we'll
Well,
try.
thanks, Steve. And what was really cool about your story too is that Arena was actually the first lady that you chose,
mhm.
right? And then you couldn't meet her on the first trip. You met her on the second trip.
Yep,
Yes, Steve
correct.
told about this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Maybe I turn on lights. No, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Can you turn on the light? Sure, sure. We'll turn on an outside light here. And I think the last question, Steve, I just wanted to ask you is, yeah, I mean, match guarantee is definitely not cheap. It's an investment in your future, you know, your future happiness, your family, your wife. Basically, was it worth it, your investment in match guarantee?
Hard
Yes,
The
it was.
punchline.
Hopefully, can you hear me?
You
Can
can
you hear
hear.
me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
there,
yes,
you're back.
yes, it was. As I said, I used another agency. I went there one time, and I still spent more money than I did with Match Guarantee. Um, so yeah, it's not cheap, but again, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a wife, or are you looking for to meet women? I was looking for a wife, and uh, uh, you know, let me tell you this, but Match Guarantee is a lot cheaper than a divorce lawyer. So you might as well, you know, make the investment. Again, know what you want, and don't settle. Because if you settle, then it's not going to work out, and then you did waste the investment. So when it's all said and done, again, I spent more money with the other agency and got zero results. Ended up with a couple of dates, and that went really nowhere. Versus when I went with Match, and that that experience really jaded me to not want to try Match, and had me, I was going to go, and then I backed out, and so it's one of those things where at some point, again, you have to look at yourself and saying, what do I have to lose? Yes, it's money, but how much if I go on a bunch of worthless dates here in the United States? That money's being thrown away anyway. So why not try a different approach? And so that's what it was. I mean, I would refer uh, Match. That's the thing. I refer Match, but I don't tell all my relatives, oh, this is how I met my wife. But if someone, I know people that have the same issues, or are saying, I just got divorced, nothing worked, I can't find what I'm looking for. I gave them the address, and again, the free part where you can check it out. For me, being the Duke of Discount, was really great. So I could, test run everything, and then you have nothing to lose at that point, and then it's just getting over your fear and going for it.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for those kind words. I just
Thank
wanted
you
to
very much.
really, Anna and I, thank you from the bottom
Yeah.
of our heart for
Thank you.
sharing. We wish you and Irina all the best and happiness, one brother to another.
Okay, great, thank you. And you can also buy Anna's music on iTunes, so check that out. Yeah, I'll put a plug for that. So
I can see.
she is a very good singer. So Anna7 on iTunes, and go ahead and buy those for her. And
Would you like
go
to be
try it.
my music producer?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, she needs a PR.
So, yeah. So I didn't realize till I met her and asked her what she did, and then I checked it out and I really liked it. So that's something that Anna probably hasn't brought back the curtain and told a lot of people, but I just did. So so you can send me 10% of everything you get on iTunes from now on. So
Appreciate
anyway,
that, Steve. Yeah, and she's just getting back on the circuit. Yeah, she's just
good.
started singing again. So
Good.
since we moved down south here. So
Yeah.
again, thanks very
Thank
much.
you
Really
very
appreciate
much.
it, Steve. Wish you and Irina all the best. God bless.
Yep.
God bless
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye. Bye, guys. Oi. We cannot lie. Oh,
Looks like we're back on. We're not supposed to be. Look, it's dark. It's like almost
Yeah.
gobbles and ghouls. Happy Halloween. It's almost Halloween
Have you
time.
been searching for a beautiful wife? Do you dream of meeting the perfect woman, but haven't found her? Well, imagine if there was a simple way this could all change for you. Imagine if there was a Canadian marriage agency that would introduce you to as many beautiful women as it takes until you find the one. Ukraine, a lost world of beautiful traditional women. At last, a place where you can find the beautiful wife you have always dreamed of. Every Ukrainian woman dreams of having a happy family. Now you can have a traditional beautiful wife from Ukraine, creating happy family memories forever. So what are you waiting for? Register right now and Skype our beautiful ladies completely free. So what makes us different, you might ask? Why not ask Google simply by searching Match Guarantee Reviews?